Welcome, FNHusa57 here. Today I am back on State of Decay 2 on my Xbox One, and I am bringing you another achievement guide. In this video, I will be showing you how to get the True Grit achievement. So this is an achievement for surviving until day 100 while in a dread zone or nightmare zone. It is currently a rare achievement with a 0.02% unlock rate and a value of 15 gamer score. Honestly, it's not worth the time, in my opinion. This is probably the most annoying and most difficult achievement in the actual game. Now, with that being said, I will show you the absolute easiest way to get this done. There is, unfortunately, no working way to do this faster. No matter what you do, it's still going to take the same amount of time to complete. With that being said, there are certain things that I will show you that will make your life a lot easier on completing this achievement. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Obviously, I would recommend that you save this achievement for last. You can see here it's the last achievement that I need. I have 109 out of 110 achievements unlocked. And the reason why I would recommend that you do this is because there are other achievements associated with unlocking the legacy cards. And you're going to need to start a new community specifically for this dread zone. I would also recommend that you play on dread difficulty instead of nightmare difficulty. Now you'll notice I have two communities here. One of them is on standard difficulty with 12 days survived, and the other one here is on dread difficulty with 98 days survived. And we'll go ahead and play on this community because this is the one that I'll be earning and unlocking the achievement with you guys on. But I want to show you how you're going to set up your dread community. So I'll use my third slot here to make a new community. The map that I like best, personally, remember it is personal preference, is Valley. There's a map on there, or a little base on that map that works fantastic. I would also recommend setting the difficulty to Dread. As I mentioned, it's a lot easier than Nightmare. Nightmare is just utterly ridiculous, so you're going to want to stay on Dread difficulty. Of course, we do have some annoying loading screens to go through. And please bear with me with this video. There's a lot of information to cover, a lot of tips and tricks that will make your life easier while earning this achievement. So remember, if this video helps, please go ahead and slap that like button. It greatly helps me out. As far as cards from your playthroughs, your legacy arc cards, I recommend choosing the Sheriff and absolutely the Builder. These are going to be the most valuable to you. The Builder card gives you base-wide power and water at no cost and no additional threat generation. And Sheriff gives you a pile of loot every day from old friends. The loot can be a couple snacks and a few bullets, or it can be pretty much almost anything. It's completely random what you get, but since you'll be on the game for 100 days, that is your best bet, in my opinion. Now, you get those cards by completing the legacy arcs on either Dread difficulty or higher. If you complete a legacy arc on Nightmare difficulty, you will get the card unlock for Nightmare, for Dread, and for Standard. So keep that in mind. Now, personally, what I recommend is I recommend picking your survivors. Obviously, by now, you should have a good pool of survivors to start with. All with decent stats, and you're going to want to make sure that you cycle through your survivors, and you're going to want to bring in the ones with the best skills suited to this. So there's a few different things that you want to look for. Mainly it's the 5th skill, and it's also the traits. Traits are very important. In this community, we do not want people that are going to be fighting with each other. So you want to try and bring in people that you've played on before, that you know they don't have negative stats as far as their traits. You don't want people with like Practical Joker, Huge Jerk, Nudist. You don't want ones like that where they're easily frustrated and they frustrate other people. You also want to try and pick, in my opinion, Either a character that has really good traits and only 4 skills, so you can put whatever the 5th skill is that you want on them, or you want to pick ones that have a 5th skill that you actually want. This would be an example of a person that would be really good to have. Pretty decent traits, not really bad. Also, they have the driving skill. This, in my opinion, is an absolute must. You want at least one person that has the driving skill. So you can choose from survivors that you have, or you can hit this button down here that says fill with random survivors. And that will give you a set of random survivors. Now you can also go ahead, sorry, my bad, can't English this morning. I've been up way too long working on this achievement for everybody, but you can fill with random survivors and it will give you this list of random people, and you can sit here and re-roll them. Now we have the medicine skill and we have the computer skill. The computer's pretty good. The medicine one I don't really like starting off, but you can hit that button right there and you can keep re-rolling until you get somebody with the traits and skills that you want. Or you can just re-roll them for their name if you want to. You can sit here and re-roll characters as much as you would possibly like until you get the characters that you want. I recommend 1 with 4 skills, 1 with driving, and 1 with sleep psychology if you have it. Now, sleep psychology is a little bit hard to get. There's also another perk right there called soundproofing. That's a good one to start with if you can get it. There's a couple different ones in here that are really good to get. Oh, this is actually a really good one right there. The lynchology? I don't know exactly how to pronounce that, so please don't hate me. But what that does is that allows this community member to produce 2 meds per day, which offsets the cost in meds for your infirmary. So right now, this would be a really good starting role. The only way that I could make this better would be to either take somebody with gardening or to keep going until I take one that rolls the driver skill. And that would pretty much be my best starting point. And I just passed the one that rolled driver. But we don't have to worry about it because we're not using this community right now. I was just showing you how to set it up if you were going to use random survivors instead of using survivors that already existed from previous games. So now that you know how to set it up, we're going to go ahead and go in, and I'm going to show you where I'm at and exactly what you need. So I'll go to Manage Communities, and I'll go to my Dread community. While that loads up, let me explain a few things. For this particular achievement, it says survive until day 100 in a Dread or Nightmare zone. Now, that's in-game days. 1 day in-game is 90 minutes or an hour and a half of real-world time. That is real-world time that you are actually playing the game. It cannot be where you are playing offline and your controller dies and the game pauses. If the game pauses, the time doesn't progress. So it's kind of a bit of a pain, to say the least, on this achievement. It is roughly 150 hours, plus or minus, I would say, about 20 minutes for the actual setup time and load screens, things of that nature. Now, you can AFK for this achievement, but you can only AFK if you set up for it correctly. Otherwise, you risk losing your entire community, and you don't want to do that. I also recommend that you have a production community set up on standard difficulty and a friend to help you out so that you can transfer things like ammunition from your 100-day Dread community to your standard community where it's less expensive to craft ammunition. And I will show you in this community exactly what I'm talking about. All of these little things will make your life a lot easier. Another thing that you're going to want is you're going to want suppressors. Good suppressors are key to survival in this difficulty. Plus, I recommend that you have at least one 50 caliber rifle. Now, you'll notice that a lot of times it starts you outside of your base. So I'm just going to casually walk in here and hope that nothing decides to attack me. As you can see, I do have a lot of vehicles. That's storage space. I do have a lot of stuff in general, and I'm going to go to the safest spot in my base, which is actually up here. And I'm going to break down everything on the map, and I'm going to break down what you need. So this is the base that I recommend. Now, I've AFK'd probably about 4.5 hours, roughly, to get to this point for recording purposes. So this is what your map will start to look like when you've AFK'd a few days in-game. You'll probably have neutral or hostile enclaves, you might have friendly enclaves, and you're going to have a bunch of infestations. The infestations are going to be your biggest problem. Now you'll notice that for outposts, I do have a few things set up. I have a few things from the Daybreak DLC. This achievement is doable without the Daybreak DLC, but I would highly recommend that you have it, and if you have it, it will make your life a lot easier, especially if you're willing to farm Daybreak to get red talent operators. So let's cover where I'm set up, and then I'll cover the people. You notice I have this little base right here. And of course, it doesn't say what it is, but this is the brewing company base. And it's pretty close to where you start off on Valley. Your starting base on Valley is right there, I believe, roughly in this area. And you need 6 people, 6 survivors to take over the brewing company. That is the hardest part. You should be able to take over the brewing company within the first 3 days in-game. So roughly within the first, like, say, 6 hours of real-world time, you should be able to take over the brewing company. Now, for outposts, you'll notice that I have my outposts scattered around the map. You want to make sure that you have your outposts scattered around the map so that when you are driving around the map and doing different quests, doing different enclave missions and clearing infestations, you have an area that you can go to resupply, get repair kits, get ammo, things of that nature. I would recommend that you go ahead and find a survey car or just run up the survey points and clear every single plague heart from the map. Then I would also recommend that you use a leader type for your hero that is the trader leader so you can build a farm level 3 unless you're once again using red talent members. So I'll show you my community. Now this is not the perfect community. As you can see behind them, there are 2 gravestones. I made it to day 95 without losing a single person. And then unfortunately, while I was gone for only 30 minutes to eat, a juggernaut killed 2 of my survivors. Unfortunately, because of, well, one of my viewers that had joined the game. Anyways, I'll explain why in a second, but I lost my hero, the one that I had promoted to leader, who had the sleep psychology skill, which gives you +2 beds and a +6 morale bonus. He also had the encouragement radio command for a hero trait, and then I lost my second gardener that had the encouragement skill as well. So I did lose 2 characters, unfortunately, despite my best efforts, which is why I always warn people about AFKing on this. As far as characters that I do have, I have my personal favorite character that you'll see me playing on all the time. This is my driver character, and the reason why you want a character with driving is because they gain 100% fuel efficiency, plus 50% vehicle impact reduction, and plus 50% vehicle loudness reduction. Super helpful, because your vehicles brake and go through so much fuel so quickly when you're playing on Dread and Nightmare difficulty. So having a driver is an absolute must. As far as traits, this person doesn't have any bonus traits, but they don't have any negative traits either. Hero bonus, +5 max food storage. Not bad, not great. As you can tell, they have a little bit of damage taken. They're fatigued, and unfortunately, because I don't have the radio commands anymore, I can't remove that fatigue, which is why you generally want to find somebody that has inspiration because you can remove the fatigue like once every half an hour with a radio command. It's super helpful. It allows you to play on the same character for hours on end without having to switch characters. Or you could use Red Talent Operators if you have the Daybreak DLC. Red Talent Operators take longer to level up to hero status, and they're irritable towards other people, but they are phenomenal in terms of their skills that they can have. Absolutely awesome. I recommend pretty much, if you had the time and you had the Daybreak DLC, go ahead and do all Red Talent Operators. You'll tear your hair out getting them, but you'll love them for their traits. Now, I also have this person right here. This is a survivor that you don't necessarily need, but it's not really bad to have. So they have the music as a 5th skill, which is +6 to morale, 100% standing rewards, knowledge of the arts, and +25 influence per day. Once again, the influence per day goes really well if you're using the radio commands to cure fatigue, but if you don't have them, like this person could be easily traded out for a Red Talent Operator. Beer Lover, that's a good trait because we're here at the brewing company, so we have stills, that's a morale bonus. Loved Camping, morale bonus from outdoor bed facilities. Can't really get that, but we have at least one pro morale bonus. And +25% experience rate. Not bad, not great. Obviously, you want to level up all your community members to hero standing so that your community gets those bonuses. Now I have this person right here. This is not my best gardener, but you will need one gardener so you can build your farm and then level it up to level 2, and then eventually with the trader as your hero, level it up to level 3. Remember, if you don't want to keep people, you can use their skills to level up a structure, convert the structure to something else, whatever you need to do, and then you can either kill them off or exile them and replace them with a different survivor if you want. But finding survivors on Dread and Nightmare difficulty without calling in Red Talent Operators is probably the hardest part of this achievement. Traits, we have Farmer, so a morale bonus from large farm slots, which obviously we have, but we also have Bleak Outlook, which is a -7 morale that counteracts the Farmer bonus. So not really great, not really bad either. We have Maxed Agriculture, which is knowledge of gardening, knowledge of agriculture, and +1 food production per day. And Hero bonus, Target of Sympathy, which is 3 morale per day. And not really great, but alright. This was a new recruit that I made to replace one of the people that got killed. Not one that I would recommend keeping. The hero bonus isn't bad. -25% injury severity. That's pretty decent because you do take injuries really quickly. As far as traits, though, this guy is the one that causes all of the problems in my community, and I really want to kick his ass out because he has got into bar fights. So he does get a morale bonus from stills and bars, but he starts conflicts with other people, and then he has Stubborn, which is irritable towards other people, and he is easily frustrated. So not only does he start fights, but he gets really pissed off, and I actually have a screenshot that shows where he started a fight with himself. So he got a double negative morale bonus because he was in a conflict, and he was the instigator of the conflict and the victim of the conflict. I don't know how that's actually possible in this game, but it is. He was a character that came with the medical skill, which is the only reason why I recruited him. I specialized it to the pathology skill, which isn't really necessary. It gives you infection resistance, which is meh. But the main thing is you need the knowledge of medicine to upgrade your infirmary to level 3. So I could probably get rid of that guy. Now this guy, he gets the Taking Risks hero bonus, so +5 max health. If you do not have a standard production community, it is very, very, very important that one of your community members have this skill I'm showing you right now, which is the Munitions Expert. This way you can make and supply ammo. Now he has good traits. He took a lot of dares, -40% injury severity, +30% max health, but he sometimes wastes medicine. I would say he's wasted medicine probably 4 times out of the 90 days that I've had him. So not really a problem. Then he has Picky Eater, which is a morale bonus from an upgraded kitchen. We don't have that. And he has negative 25% food consumed per day. But he annoys irritable community members. So this guy fights with Sean all the frickin' time. Causes major problems. Anyways, this is the skill that we kept him for. Munitions. Knowledge of chemistry, knowledge of munitions, and +3 to max ammo storage. This allows you to make more ammunition for the same cost. Phenomenal to have if you do not have a standard community and a friend to help you transfer resources. This is another absolutely critical skill at times. What I have on here is electronics. Also a hero bonus that increases max health. Pretty nice. No real bad traits. Just takes longer to level up. And we have the knowledge of electronics. So this is knowledge of computers, knowledge of electronics, and plus 25% part salvage from weapons. Not bad, but once you use this person to upgrade your command center to level 3, you don't really need to keep them. You can swap them out for something else or a red talent operator if you want. I have this person with a hero bonus of +4 morale. Not really that great. Beer lover, so morale bonus from stills. Tabletop gamer, morale bonus from an upgraded lounge. Pretty decent traits there. And for a 5th skill, we have knowledge of auto mechanics. This is really nice because it's plus 25% fuel efficiency, plus 50% vehicle loudness reduction, knowledge of mechanics, knowledge of auto mechanics. This is a person I would recommend you keep in your community because you are going to need repair kits. And finding repair kits is not exactly super easy. So if you have knowledge of auto mechanics, you can make repair kits, or tool kits as they're called, relatively cheap. And you can also make the advanced toolkits, again, relatively cheap. So I recommend you keep that person. Now for this guy, +5 maximum stamina. It's always nice. He is also irritable to other people because he's got the good old punch Nazis trait. And he's also got greedy, which means it takes him longer to level up. Not great, but I can deal with him because he has the electrical skill, which is knowledge of utilities, knowledge of electrical, and he gives you 20 parts per day. Obviously, we need the parts to make repair kits, so pretty darn good to have. The knowledge of utilities and electrical, the reason why we do this is so that we can build hydroponics. Once you have the facility built, though, like I said, you can go ahead and get rid of these people and replace them with red talent operators or people with better traits if you are wanting to do so. I do recommend that you keep this particular skill, though. So I've got a hero bonus of +10 health, no bad traits, but no good traits. And then I have, like I showed you, the lynchology, or however you pronounce that. I didn't look it up. But what that does is +2 meds per day, plus it gives you the knowledge of guarding and the knowledge of herbalism. Now, the thing about that is that completely offsets our cost for the infirmary, which I'll go and show you on my base. Right now, it's not the best that it could be. It could be better. The only reason why it's a little bit problematic is because I lost those 2 people. I lost my person with sleep psychology. If I had my person with sleep psychology, I would be even on beds, and also I lost my other gardener, so I'm not producing as much food. But that's okay. What we're using right now, I'm using a farm level 3, and you only get that by having a trader as your leader. And then, of course, you can kill them off or exile them or do whatever you want if you do want to replace that. And it is absolutely key that for your food production facilities, you use the fertilizer bag. What that does is plus 50% food yield for the facility. And you can also boost the yields by using a packet of seeds, which is really easy, and it lasts for 1 hour and 31 minutes, which is roughly 1 day in-game. We have the tasting room built in here, which is nice because it allows us to do like schedule a break, which gives you a morale bonus. I have refrigerated storage, level 3. I also have a little ammo mod installed there. And when I do say mod, I'm talking about a facility mod, not a computer program. So what this does is increases your maximum storage for ammo. Then I have an infirmary level 3. You can really put whatever mod you want on there. I do currently have the Clio support transmitter. Honestly, it's not really worth it. You would probably be better off putting another storage facility mod in there, or putting a biochem station mod. It's completely up to you. As you see, I have a lot of different mods that I've picked up through playing the game. So that's entirely personal preference. Then I have hydroponics, which produces meds per day. Again, you can boost them. And sometimes I switch this back to fertilizer, or back to food, so I keep the fertilizer bag on there. If you want, though, technically it's better to have the gardening toolkit, because the gardening toolkit is plus 30% food or meds yield, whereas the bag of fertilizer is plus 50% food yield. So putting the bag of fertilizer on the facility when it's producing meds doesn't help you, whereas putting the gardening toolkit does help you. Also, if you can get it, you have this one that is install compost bin. Now this is kind of cool because what happens is it is spend food to increase the yield by 100%, which is a really nice bonus, especially if you're gonna do it for meds. So what I recommend is building your community so that you can produce food, and then once you have a stockpile of food, switch one of your 2 food production facilities over to meds, and then you can produce meds so that you can make med kits, because you will need med kits. You will need med kits, you will need fuel, and you will need repair kits or tool kits on this difficulty. Basically, you'll need everything, and I am teaching you how to become self-sufficient. So we have a command center level 3. Very important, I have the signal booster. What that does is give you +2 max outposts, not to be confused with the signal antenna, which is only +1 max outposts. However, you can also stack this with a red talon operator with the hacking skill. That will allow you to have 7 outposts. As you see, I can only have 6 outposts, which is the normal max. Because I do have the knowledge of computers and I have power, I can do drone hacking, which gives me the drone recon. But I usually do satellite broadcast because of the influence bonus. Now we have a very important structure here, and this is the keg storage over here. It is plus 25% global build action speed and free upkeep for all facilities. Plus, when you first take over the base, I recommend you do the building prep. Click that button. It costs 40 parts, takes 20 minutes, but gives you a plus 50% global build action speed for 1 hour. That facility you can also clear, and you could build a second large slot there, but I don't recommend doing so. I'll show you why in a second. We have this permanent water tank here. There's really not much you can do with it. It's just meh. It does give +1 morale as a passive bonus, and then you can install any storage facility mod there. So I once again have installed another ammo crate, or a secure ammo storage, so I have +5 ammo storage from that. And we also have the primary still and the craft still. These are items that you cannot remove, you cannot tear them down, but they do have some really nice benefits. You can turn food into fuel. So if you are not producing fuel, and obviously we need fuel for our cars, you can do so through the still. You can also convert food into ethanol, and you can convert food into whiskey if you want a trade item. Plus you can convert food into the 6-pack of craft beer, and you can do that with both stills. Then you can use the 6-pack of craft beer to do stock the taps. It is possible while you're doing this achievement to actually go ahead and get the achievement associated for having max morale on a Dread or Nightmare difficulty. Obviously we can craft Molotovs, which are pretty much pointless. You can enact rationing, which isn't really worth it in all honesty. It's honestly crap. But you can use it while you're like building your farm, and you do have the very basics of a kitchen here. So you can make snacks, you can make, if you have the knowledge of nutrition, the nutritional snacks, and if you have knowledge of cooking, you can make like energy drinks, you can make cup of coffee, you can produce food, but you have to sacrifice boxes of seeds and jugs of ethanol, so that's not really worth it. Now you'll notice that I skipped over my Red Talon workshop. I absolutely love this thing. It is phenomenal. The reason why I love this thing so much is because it does everything that a level 3 workshop does. It includes its own power, and it grants +1 materials per day with the ability to passively repair any ranged or melee weapons that are in your storage. No cost associated with that. So I absolutely love it. As you can see, I have a rifle ammo press installed, and I'm just going to show you that I can craft rifle ammunition. So mainly I use 7.62 rounds. I can craft 55 of them for a cost of 5 ammo. That's with my knowledge of munitions. Now, unfortunately, that is more expensive than transferring the ammo to your regular standard difficulty community, where you can make 55 rounds with a munitions expert for only a cost of 3 ammo. But I do recommend that you have it just in case. There's other presses and everything. Another one that's relatively important to have, but not 100% essential. If you're using a lot of parts, you're going to want to install this salvage furnace. And the reason why you want to install the salvage furnace mod is because it gives you more parts from salvaging weapons as long as there is fuel available, which obviously I just showed you how we can make fuel. So, no problem there. Super easy. And you can go through and salvage weapon remains. You pick those up through the open world. We have a lot of them. It takes roughly 7 minutes. And the mechanic skill can be improved, plus the mechanic skill will make that action faster, and you can salvage any of the random weapons that you pick up if you don't want them as well. So that's how we get our parts. Obviously we don't need materials because materials are being generated for us. Then I use 2 Red Talon watchtowers. You don't need to use the Red Talon watchtowers. You can use regular watchtowers. You could use 1 watchtower. It's completely up to you and dependent upon what skills you have. If you have people with like fortifications or soundproofing, that will reduce the zombie threat as well. But you want to keep your zombie threat as low as possible. Ideally, you want to keep it at a 0 so your base is never attacked. But what a Red Talon watchtower does is it uses 1 ammo and 1 materials per day. It supports 3 active guards, and it has a -6 zombie threat. So I have those 2 right there. That pretty much covers everything here at my base. As you can see, I just boosted my yields. So since I boosted my yields, I'm going to go ahead and show you all of my bonuses. For resources, just with the farm level 3, boosted, I'm actually producing 2.25 food per day. You can see here that Alex gives me +1 food. The farm is giving me +2.5, plus another 7.5. That's because I have the fertilizer bag, and we just boosted the yield on it. Because I boosted the yield on the hydroponics, you see that we're producing 6 meds per day. That's because we have Ever producing 2, the infirmary that is using 2, and then the hydroponics that are producing 6. Ammo, we're using 2 per day, but I have 3 outposts that are producing 1 per day, so we're actually gaining 1 ammo every day. Materials, we're gaining 1 every day over what we're using because the keg storage is producing 5 per day, and the Red Talon workshop is producing 1 per day. The keg storage is producing 5 because our farm level 3 is using 1. We're using 2 from both of the Red Talon watchtowers. The infirmary is using 1, and the hydroponics is using 1. And then as far as fuel, we're just sitting at an even. We're not spending it or using it. We are also producing 20 parts per day and 25 influence per day. Sadly, I am not producing any prestige per day because that would be just incredibly helpful. For outposts, as you've seen, I have 3 ammo outposts and 3 safe houses. Each one of the safe houses grants 2 beds. Each one of the ammo outposts grants +1 ammo per day. If I had a red talent operator with the hacking skill, that would be absolutely phenomenal. So right now we know that we're producing 6 meds per day. I'm going to go ahead and remove that. You'll see we're still producing 6 meds per day because the bag of fertilizer does not help you. But if I go ahead and wait, now it's 3 minutes to install the compost bin. So while that waits, there's another very important thing I need to show you guys. That is, you need to keep your eye on morale. If your morale is not partially into the green, you're going to have a lot of fights. You're going to have a lot of wasted resources, which is going to lead to people that become frustrated more, which is going to lead to more negative morale, which is going to possibly lead to your survivors leaving. You don't want that to happen. You also don't want them wasting resources. I had one of them that got mad and said they went to take a drive. He used 8 fuel taking a drive. Don't ask how he managed to use 8 fuel driving, but he did. So we're going to go back to the base. Morale, as I said, you can scroll down on it. The biggest problem is going to be infestations. You'll get -15 for every community member when you have too many infestations. You have a permanent -10 just for being on a dread zone. And then if you don't have enough beds, you'll have a -7 for each person that does not have a bed. And then, of course, you'll see all of your bonus morale points, including temporary ones for like killing a plague heart or something of that nature, which if you want, you can go help someone else on their world kill a plague heart, and then you'll get that temporary morale bonus that'll transfer back to your community. Just a quick tip there. The other thing is you want to keep your threat level low. I can keep my threat level at a 0. It was at a 0 before, but like I said, I lost my 2 community members that were allowing me to do that. So right now it's a 3 with me actually doing things, installing facility mods and stuff like that, which isn't really bad. You really want to keep it under a 5. If it hits 5, you're going to get an attack on your base. It's just almost 100% guaranteed. It will happen. So that's why I say just, kind of keep that as low as possible. So you see how we're all set up. It's really easy to do. And I know everybody's going to ask about the vehicles, so I'm going to show you why I have those vehicles and how I got those vehicles. As you can see, we'll get the bonus here in 10 seconds, so I'm not going to have to worry about that, and that's going to drop my threat level down. Once that finishes construction, you'll notice that my threat level dropped down to a 2, which is acceptable. Once the facility mod installs, it'll drop down to a 1.
I had a feeling that would work.
Periodically, your people will just do random things like this. This person found some expired fuel and got an extra can of gas out of it. Periodically, you'll have these different quests that pop up. I do recommend, if you can, do these quests. This way you can get more friendly enclaves and possibly more allies, which could have some really good benefits for you. Be very careful of hostile enclaves because the NPCs are capable of killing you. Also, I recommend that you do not go outside and deal with hostile enclaves at night. Never deal with hostile NPCs at night. It is almost 100% death sentence for you. So as you can see, I do have a lot of vehicles here. I'll go through and I'll show you. Most of these vehicles are vehicle call-in vehicles. If you've been watching stream on Twitch, then you guys know I've spent a lot of time on this, but a lot of them are also random ones from around the map. So we have a police cruiser. Pretty much all of these vehicles are filled with rucksacks, and the reason for that being is that my community produces so many materials and so much per day that while you're playing, you're going to have to do something with the materials. I did a quest. It gave me one of these little road racers, and we got one of these little blue cars here. Got one little green car. We've got a wizard van. We've got the meat wagon. Do not use this vehicle. This is part of the Independence Day DLC. I had it full of rucksacks of food. I have a Twitch clip on my channel and in my Discord channel you can check out where I came back to my base and this vehicle was literally driving itself. There was no one else in my game, and it also deleted all the rucksacks. So do not use that vehicle. I swear that vehicle has issues. Then we have the other Independence Day pickup. I have the Impaler, I believe is what this one is. Pick that up. We have the Pyrohawk, which is another Independence Day vehicle. We have another Wizard van over here for storage space. The upgraded green car, which is one of the ones that I started with. I have my vehicle that I travel all over the place with. This is my favorite vehicle here. It's the Viking. Absolutely love this vehicle. It's my baby. It's kind of beat up though. It needs repaired. Then we have another Wizard van. And we have another Wizard van. And we have one more. Two more Wizard vans. We have a random military truck that I found on the map. Watch out whenever you go outside your base. You're going to have friends. They can be ferals, especially on this difficulty. I hate ferals. As soon as they practically touch you, they give you an injury or trauma, which is a little ridiculous. Then these vehicles are also from around the map. I did my Aunt the Prepper quest, and I got those two vehicles from the My Aunt the Prepper quest. Be very careful when you are outside of your base, because you will attract enemies. Like I said, I recommend that you have a 50 caliber rifle, and if you do go outside, bringing this 50 caliber rifle is pretty much a must for you. The reason being is the fact that you will deal with juggernauts and plague hearts. This is basically one of the fastest ways to bring down juggernauts. And of course, there just happened to casually be a XL horde right outside my base. When you find one of these, you will get an achievement for destroying it, so keep that in mind. But my guy's tired and suffering from fatigue. I also recommend you run characters that have weapon handling, or run Red Talon operators, because they can clear jammed weapons in the field. As you see, I'm using a Prepper's 1022. It's not a great rifle, but it has good magazine capacity, and from my other games, I was able to get a lot of 22 long rifle ammo. I've never actually made the 22 long rifle ammo. Wow, I cannot hit anything to save my life. And it has a really long reload time, but it's very good for just killing the regular zombies that show up on your doorstep. You usually get this gun from finishing the My Aunt the Prepper quest line. So as I was showing, I have that. Then I have, for the legendary version of the game, we have this vehicle that you can call in once per world. Another random world spawn vehicle. Another wizard van. Another road racer. Another very bad vehicle to have, meat wagon. I wish I never had that. A little blue sports car. And I think I have a taxi or something. I have a road racer back there. It was one of my other vehicles that I found. And you will notice there is a police car inside my base. This is not my doing. This is actually what got my 2 community members killed. So you will notice that you have a Red Talon Watchtower. The Red Talon Watchtower will support 3 armed guards. We have 2 of them, so that's where 6 people go. I'm playing on another character, which is my 7th person, and then number 8 and number 9 just randomly wander around down here on the ground. So what happened is I had went to go get some food, was literally only gone half an hour, and I came back to 2 of my community members ripped in half by a juggernaut. Now the problem is, most of the juggernauts and enemies that will come inside your base, because they will eventually come inside your base, a horde will just wander too close and they'll be attracted to your base. Even if you block the door, which is what I did, I blocked the door with this car, and the juggernaut just came in, knocked the car out of the way, walked through the door, and 2 of my stupid community members walked right here and were fighting the juggernaut. Needless to say, the juggernaut ripped them to shreds before the watchtowers could kill the juggernaut. So I came back to a dead juggernaut and 2 of my community members dead. This police car is not normally here. I cannot get it out of my base. There's no option because it's destroyed. I can't get in it and use the I'm stuck feature. I can't flip it. I can't do anything with it. What happened is one of my viewers on Twitch joined and was driving like a maniac, and he managed to get the police car stuck after hitting one of my other vehicles. So I'm really freaking pissed because I lost 2 of my community members and I haven't been able to get the community members back. I haven't been able to find ones with the same skill, unfortunately. So, yeah, it really, really sucks. Even though my NPCs had good guns, you'll notice, like this guy, you're going to want to give the NPCs the best weapons you can. Mainly, you want to give them, like, 7.62 or better. This guy has an MP5. It's okay to have, like, one person with an MP5. It's a Spec Ops weapon. This person has a sighted scar. Also, make sure that if the gun has a suppressor on it, go ahead and make sure it's a good one. This one has a 50 cal. If I can show you, he has the 50 cal automatic sniper rifle. It's literally a 5-round automatic 50 cal. And then I will show you what these guys have over here. This person also has an MP5 Spec Ops. This person has another fully automatic 50 cal, and this person has another sighted scar. Plus the guys that were alive on the ground also had sighted scars, all on fully automatic. So good weapons, high damage output, but not enough to shred the Juggernaut, because somehow Juggernauts can fit through this tiny ass little door, and they will walk into your base, and it takes the NPCs a while to kill them. Ferals can also get into your base, and they will walk or climb all the way up and fight up here on these watchtowers. So just be careful of that. If you're only gone a few minutes, then it's perfectly fine to AFK here on the watchtower. But if you're going to be gone for a while, you're going to want to go over here to this little Flowering Flats billboard. This is the only place that is 100% safe. Even if you jump up on this shipping container, I've had ferals that were able to get to me up here. So just keep that in mind. Now what I wanted to show you on my community, you'll notice that the facility mod is installed. Bam, right there. We're still producing 6 meds per day. And I can go ahead and sacrifice 1 food, which will give me a 100% yield bonus. So let's see if that actually applies to the meds or not, because I only just got the compost bin. But I'm going to show you. I recommend you obviously take like cups of coffee or shots of espresso and some way to heal yourself with you. And you want to kind of walk over to this billboard relatively slowly. This is if you're going to be AFKing. Eliminate anything that, you know, might be attracted to you. I have a Juggernaut here, so you really don't want to attract that Juggernaut. But it doesn't matter because ferals, Juggernauts, nothing can climb a ladder. So you go up the first ladder, go up to the second ladder, and then what you're going to want to do is you just want to crouch. Sometimes it causes you to run. It's really weird. But just crouch up here. And now you need to do 2 things to set up to AFK. First, you need to make sure you're using a wired controller. Or if you're using a wireless controller, you use the Play and Charge kit, which is a USB to micro USB wire. Plug in your controller, and this will prevent your controller from turning off. For our next step, you want to go to your settings. And you want to go to power and startup, and then options. You will set how many hours of inactivity before your console turns off. For me personally, I have not gone over 4 hours of inactivity because I do not want to cause any damage to my console. So if you are going to AFK, make sure your console is on a nice hard flat surface. Make sure none of the air vents are blocked, and make sure that there's plenty of airflow around it. But go ahead and select the number of hours that you wish to AFK, keeping in mind that every 90 minutes is 1 day in game, and then go back to your game, set your controller down, and wait. That's how you do the AFK. Now, to keep track of the number of days that you are on, since there is no in-game counter, what you will have to do is you'll have to keep an eye on the achievement, and the achievement progress will actually update faster than the in-game progress. That's because there's 2 ticks per day. If you've ever noticed on your community, for instance, it says that I should be getting 6 meds per day, you'll get a tick and it'll show that you got 3 meds per day. That's because there is a tick when day ends and night starts, and there's a tick when night ends and day starts. So there's actually 2 supply drop-offs. Each supply is 50% of what you would get for the full day total. That's how the game does it. And the achievement seems to track like every 1.5 ticks. It's a little bit weird on the tracking on that. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look. Since we boosted the yields, 100% boost rate. Don't ask why 100% of 6 turns into 9. That should have turned into 12, but it didn't. Anyways, we're producing 9 meds per day by using the compost bin. Now, the reason why producing those meds per day is so nice is because you can go to the infirmary and you can produce 2 first aid kits for the cost of 3 meds, 33 parts, and 2 jugs of ethanol. Now, I tested this on my standard difficulty community, and this is the exact same cost. So there's no point in transferring meds. You can also produce plague cure for 3 plague samples and 2 meds. It's not a bad idea to go ahead and have that on you. And like I said, producing those first aid kits is a pretty big deal. Unfortunately, in here, even with medical help, there's no way to remove fatigue. Fatigue is super annoying. The only way to really remove it is to have a radio command that will remove it, or to use cups of coffee or shots of espresso. Shots of espresso are better than cups of coffee, so I'm just going to kind of go back to my base now that I showed you that. I'll show you the last few things that I need to, and then I'll just fast forward to the achievement unlocking. Because I'm somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour from the achievement unlocking, since we don't have an accurate in-game tracker. So as you can see, I have all my ammunition. Obviously, you're going to want ammo. It's a very good idea. I've just been burning through the 22 caliber ammo that I have from picking up random weapons, and obviously the 50 cal ammo for my sniper. We have a lot of ammo from picking up things. As most of you guys know, I pick up everything, so I literally have like a crap ton of crossbows, pistols. I've just been collecting weapons. I've found some oddities like MP5K Spec Ops. We have some of the World War II carbines. I have a couple neat ones that I like. I have these Spec Ops Vectors. They're really nice because they hold 50 rounds, not 55, but 50 rounds of 45 caliber ammo. Plus you can use a suppressor on them. You can also see that I have some of the Red Talon weapons. Shotguns, which I don't really use. Anything you don't want to keep and you don't want to use, unload the ammunition from it and then salvage it from parts. We have some M16s, M4s. I've got plenty of BARs because I love that gun. It's just really nice. This is a new weapon that I really like. It's a really good sniper rifle. It is basically the Arctic Warrior upgraded. Phenomenal weapon. And I do have one gun that I was given that has too much ammo in it, but I was going to sell that and get rid of it. And then I save every one of my melee weapons that I pick up. As you'll notice, they're all repaired because we have the passive repair system from the Red Talon workshop. You can break these down if you want. You have the option to salvage them for parts. They don't salvage for much, but that's how I have all the parts. And you can just freely trade out melee weapons whenever you want. Just note that with the Red Talon Workshop and the passive repairs, do not put a weapon that is partially used in, because it will not repair it unless it is actually yellow and says damaged. Then we have all of our random stuff: computer books, fishing, hygiene, random books that I've bought, random books that I've collected, multiplayer rewards for mines and things, espresso shots, because you always have to love you some espresso shots, C4, which is really good and you can make it with the knowledge of electronics. C4 is phenomenal because you can use it to kill plague hearts. On standard difficulty, it only takes like 2 to 3 C4 to kill a plague heart. Advanced toolkits, which are very nice for dread difficulty. They cost 100 parts to make. Regular toolkits cost, what is it, like 47 parts or something like that for me to make. And then, of course, just, random odds and ends, grenades, and all the zombie consumables, all that type of stuff. All my parts, all my trade materials, all my ammo. Nothing modded. Remember, I'm playing on Xbox. I cannot actually mod stuff even if I wanted to.
That was noisy.
So the reason for the repair kits here is we're going to go ahead and repair my poor Viking. I always recommend when you are playing on this difficulty that you keep at least one repair kit and 1 can of gas, preferably 2 repair kits. I call them repair kits even though the technical name is toolkits, in the back of your chosen vehicle, because it makes it a lot easier to ride around. If you have Plague Cure, it's also a good idea to go ahead and keep 1 in the back there. Now, the reason why I use this Viking is it has drastically increased fuel economy and fuel capacity, plus since it's the upgraded pickup and it's just one of the regular like utility trucks, pickup trucks, upgraded with a upgrade kit. Only the host of the world can do that, by the way. And I do have a video on making those. You can make them with the auto shop and auto mechanic skill. But this vehicle is my favorite for driving around the map, just getting things done. So obviously the biggest threat right now is killing all of the infestations. If you get survivors in need, or you get mysterious wandering traders, those are really good. As you can see, it just ticked to day 100 and we got the achievement. Yay, fantastic, phenomenal. Let's go ahead and check out that achievement, because I've been working towards this for a while. So there we go, bam, 0.02% have it. True Grit survived until day 100 while in a dread zone or nightmare zone. Congratulations, guys, you've got your achievement. You are done. Go do whatever you want. You can keep the community. You can use this community to continue to produce stuff. You can run around and kill juggernauts, kill infestations, or at this point you could just simply finish the chosen leader legacy arc and get rid of the community. It's completely up to you. I do have another video where I will show you all of the stuff that you can get. A super fantastic, easy way to get a bunch of resources really quick, as long as you have 2 legacies completed. So make sure you check that video out next. Until then, if you enjoyed the video, like I said earlier, smash the like button and share it, as that greatly helps with the searchability of videos here on YouTube. And of course, subscribe for more content. Until next time, stay frosty.